Go.
Okay, so today, guys, we are going to be talking about hydrogen peroxide and its effects on wound healing. So oftentimes when treating wounds, there's kind of an argument over whether hydrogen peroxide usage is harmful or beneficial. A lot of this comes from past research done showing that hydrogen peroxide can be damaging to epithelial tissues. And so, this is a common debate when, your kid gets injured and they scrape their knee and everything, and so you're like, do I use hydrogen peroxide or should I use soap and water? And for the longest time, experts, medical personnel said that soap and water is the best thing. Based on what we have looked at today, we're going to be kind of talking about why hydrogen peroxide might actually be more beneficial in wound healing than normal saline or even soap and water. So one study done showed that there's actually a large impact on efficient and effective wound healing when using hydrogen peroxide in appropriate amounts. Some of this can be, so one study showed that it stimulates cellular granulation as well as decreases the chances of infection. And so let's talk about granulation for a second. Granulation is essentially your body producing a scab. That's what granulation is the process of that wound creating a scab to avoid further infection. Another thing that can be said for it, the way it decreases the likelihood of infection and further, bacteria getting into the wound is by oxidative stress. So because that there is some oxidative stress, which you can see here, basically it kind of just makes the cell less able to be infected by bacteria, which basically means that if there's no bacteria being able to infect the site, then it allows for the healing process to be quicker. If you have bacteria, if you have infection, it's going to slow down the healing process. Another thing that they were able to find was that, in another study done actually, that hydrogen peroxide can act as an early detection signal for damage. So with that to be said, it aids in wound healing as it allows for cells that aid in immune responses and tissue repair to act quicker, therefore speeding up the process, which is what we want. We want to be able to have wound healing quicker, and we want our immune response to be more efficient at detecting when we are injured and to be able to get cells that are responsible for repair of damaged tissue and everything to be recruited to that site to begin repairing it. So, however, it is important to note with that study that hydrogen peroxide solution presence must be at a lower concentration to have these beneficial effects. That kind of seems to be the thing that we are looking for consistently, and that's kind of different with every study done. Another thing was hydrogen peroxide, when used, can aid in cell adhesion, migration, and interacts with the SRC enzyme. Protein actually. So basically what cell adhesion and migration is kind of same thing, is we're recruiting the specialized immune cells to be able to go to where the damaged tissue is, and we want that. We want them to migrate, we want to start adhering to that. And what's really important about the SRC protein is that it is involved in cellular proliferation and differentiation and adhesion, making it a crucial protein necessary for wound healing. And so cellular proliferation is just essentially cells dividing and growing in number, which is, again, what we want. We are wanting to see that. So, which essentially all it does is just it allows for a faster and more effective recovery from the injury that we are just like the wound injuries that we are discussing. So overall, we are seeing, based on research, that as long as there's a lower concentration of the hydrogen peroxide can actually have a very beneficial effect on the wound healing process and make it much more faster and much more effective at healing those wounds that we are talking about. And wounds can be anywhere from a scrape on the knee to severe scrapes from, motorcycle accidents, things like that. So this is really good research done that can help us understand more what the wound healing process looks like and be able to provide effective care.